Hey YouTube, we're here on Weapons Grade, the channel where we grade different weapons. Anything from knives, guns, swords, hatchets, crossbows,
machetes, BB guns,
whatever you guys tell us to grade, we're gonna grade it. Now generally what we use is our own collection of products. Former military, black belts in karate, we get the basic idea of self-defense, but sometimes you need a little extra. Maybe there's 3 or 4 guys, maybe you're in a dark alley. Maybe you just need a little more confidence. Maybe you need that warning that says, back off, this is for real. Today, we're gonna talk about concealed carry folding knives division. As you can see, the front row is also concealed carry knives, but they're not folding, they're fixed. Some are angled, some are straight, but concealed carry has its own subdivision of folders. We just wanna talk about folders today. So we brought some that we like and that we carry. Some are semi-automatic, some are spring-loaded, spring-assisted, and some are automatic. Matt, why don't you get talking about, what's this one on the end here?
So this is a Kershaw folder. It's spring assisted, made in China. Good, probably $20 to $30 at most sporting goods stores or online. And it opens easily.
How did you open that?
So right here is a little stud and it flips open real easy. Right there.
So that's a single finger flip open knife.
Yep. The nice thing about this is the clip is on this side of the blade, so it's easy to stick in your pocket and clip in.
So let's talk about that for a second. Doesn't every folding knife have a clip on the back? Let's look at it. We're gonna put the side that you have to grab or open with your finger or your thumb towards you. So now notice this. Oh, that doesn't have a clip. Some of them, the clips are facing this way, like this knife. Now the opening port where your thumb has to go is down here. And yet the clip is facing this way. On the one Matthew was just talking about, on this Kershaw, the opener is down here and the clip is on the opposite side. Does that matter?
It matters on how you're gonna carry it. Some people carry these knives like this, point down. Some people carry like this.
Well, you have no choice
Point
because
up.
of how the clip is mounted.
The way the
right?
clip goes. However, many of these are reversible. So if you look right here, there's 3 holes here, there's 3 holes there. Depends on how you want to do it. If you'd like to, you unscrew these, screw them in here, and you're able to carry it the opposite direction. Depends on personal preference.
So why would you carry it with the drop point, which is the opening part, down into your jean pocket? Let me show you. If you have like this, and the opening is at the bottom, or what you grab, whether it's a button, your thumb, or your finger, if you drop it into your jeans like this, then you naturally reach in, pull it out, and open it. If indeed the clip is at the other end, and you drop it into your pocket, and you naturally reach in, you can't open that blade. You have to turn it around in your hand and then open it, causing a delay. And if you're in a situation, you might not have the mental response for that delay. So in our experiences, as you look at a flipper, you want the clip to point in the direction of the blade when it's open, so that when it's closed, the button, the thumb, or the finger is at the bottom. So just look at the clip, whichever way it's pointed, should be pointed the same way as the tip of the knife.
Like I said, this is a relatively inexpensive knife, but that can be good for everyday carry, especially if you're prone to losing or breaking blades. You don't necessarily want one that costs $100, $200, $500 that you have to replace every 2 months. This is another good example. The clip on this is
What
down.
is that knife?
This is, I think it's a Big 5 Special. It's a Chinese made, cold steel. So Chinese made, big beefy blade. And for some people, especially with heavy duty tasks, this is probably a good everyday carry. For someone like me, not so much. This is heavy and it would drag on my pants, it would pull on my clothing, and it would be a burden to carry every day. So I wouldn't carry this, but all in all, it's a good blade. It's made by Cold Steel.
So that's what size blade is that?
I think this is about a 4-inch blade.
About a 4-inch blade, which here in California is illegal for us to carry as a concealed carry weapon. Now your state might vary, but in California we have to have a 3-inch blade or shorter. The handle can be any length, which will bring us to another whole genre of intelligence when it comes to a flipper and a folder. If you're in a place where you're required to have a shorter blade but a longer full-length handle. I agree with Matthew. Now this Cold Steel, and some people see them at Big Five or other sporting goods places, and they may have licensed the brand Smith & Wesson or something. This is a big, bulky, heavy knife that I've used a whole bunch, and it has enough weight that you could flip it open just like I did, or it has a thumb press. It's not spring assisted or anything, but it's got enough weight that if you're in a situation, you just flip that thing open because the blade is heavy enough that with a little wrist action, that thing pops open. This is a very tight, sturdy blade. I've abused this thing. It's great. I wouldn't carry it anywhere. I mean, I'm not going hunting, so this thing is way too big. Now, what about the different types of metals? I noticed this is like a silver shiny metal, and it's thin. This is a big, bulky, well, probably painted metal, but what's gonna hold up? Am I gonna stab something with these and will the knife break?
So this is a patented steel. It's an 8 chromium, 13 MOV. But a lot of these different companies have their own patented steels that they work with.
A formula of metal?
Yeah, formula of steel. And it's a mixture of different alloys to produce different results. Either hardness, which because there's chromium in this will be a harder steel, but it'll also make it more brittle. So it's instead of bending, it will break. For a folder, that's fine most of the time because you aren't going to be prying things open with it. Each of these will come with different steels. The longer it is, the softer you want the steel to be, because if you have it too hard, it'll shatter, which can cause danger to you and danger to those around you. If a big blade breaks, it's going somewhere, and often it might be someone's eye.
So a big blade, you want a softer metal?
Well, they're differentially hardened, so the outside is harder most of the time than the center. But a larger blade, if it's a harder steel, doesn't have any give, and they'll shatter once they start.
So what's a good example of a steel that's good for a 4 or 5 inch blade?
4 or 5 inch blade, you go with a high carbon steel a lot of times, or like a D2. D2 is very hard, but it's not going to shatter. It's not also going to rust as easily.
So with a short blade, what metal do you want?
Short blade, most of the time, most metals will do well. Anything from stainless all the way through the spectrum.
So you don't, I noticed this one's stainless, and this was a low-cost blade, for example. Oh, this might not be stainless, but for a stainless blade, you don't want a long blade that's stainless steel?
Yes, so stainless steel is brittle. It'll break instead of bend. It has some major disadvantages. It doesn't hold edge as long and as well.
Let's talk about these knives real quick. Do you have a favorite as far as a concealed carry, self-defense weapon?
My favorite is the one I carry every day, and that's my my ProTech Half-Breed.
This is the ProTech Pro-TECH Pro-TECH, and this is called the Half-Breed. And the reason it's called a half-breed is because
what they did is they took their small 2-inch concealed carry and they took their larger frame knife and they put the small blade on it. So it's an automatic that has a blade that's legal in California. It's under 2 inches, but it's light, it's small, and it's fast to open, fast to pull, and it weighs almost nothing.
So going back to the clip, you'll notice as Matthew opened this, the tip of the blade points the same direction as the clip. So into your pocket, you'll reach down naturally, hit the button, and the thing flies open. This is a fully automatic, or switch blade, if you will, out the side. Easy to open with this button right here. And the same way you close it. Press the button, close it up. Now, here's again what Matthew said was this has a full-size handle and a mini blade. And the reason you want that is leverage. You get a full grip on your handle and you can wield the blade around. Whereas the exact same manufacturer, exact same blade in a half handle style, half size handle, I can't really wrap more than 1 or 2 fingers around. So if you're a big guy and you're reaching in your pocket for this knife, you're not going to have any leverage, and you might even cut yourself with it when you're grabbing it because you're grabbing blade. Whereas this, you have a full grip on a full handle, and it's a really nice blade. And you have used this a lot as a utility.
I've carried this for 3 years, and I'm thinking about buying a second one just because I love it so much. It would be horrible if I lost it someday and didn't have this to carry.
They're not cheap, right?
No, this one's about $120, $130, but it's worth it. If you carry it every day, it's a quarter to carry each day that you have it. So
versus something like this that weighs a pound and has a solid click. Now notice the clip is going in the wrong direction. For me, these people didn't think it through. Because if you're really grabbing it into your pocket, if you're holding it into your pocket instead of up on your belt, you really have to change it in your hand to open it. And I just don't like that. I can't emphasize it enough because you're gonna reach down, here's the clip, it's going in like this, you're gonna reach down, you'll have to turn it around in your hand. And if you're in a situation, you don't wanna do that. And this has a thumb flicker thing here. It's not that easy. You can see that as I flip it around, there's not much spring assist there. So you really have to slap that around. There's no spring assist?
No.
Heavy blade, no spring assist. This is the Ontario Knife Company made in Italy XR1. But I will tell you one thing about this. It feels like I could chop down a tree.
This is made by Fox Knives in Italy. Great steel, and they aren't cheap. This is going to cost you anywhere between $80 and $150.
It's super thick.
It's thick, it's beefy, and there's a glass breaker on the top, which is kind of nice. So if you got to get out of a car,
who needs to get out of a car? What is this glass breaker thing?
You smash these things. So a lot of times people, when there's an emergency, they actually have a hard time breaking their windows.
So the next time you drive on a lake with your windows rolled up, make sure you have a knife with a glass breaker.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, now this is a good blade. Also has a seatbelt cutter on it. So a lot of people keep these types of blades in their cars in case of emergency.
So we are like-minded in the fact that observation and situational awareness, those are paramount to your self-defense. However, if you get in a situation, it's always nice to whip out a blade, even if it's nothing more than to say, hey, back up. So I like this one. It's unique. It's got this circle thingy right here. What's going on here?
We talked about a couple different blades. This one has a little ring on the bottom. The nice thing about that, so it doesn't come out of your hand. So, almost cut myself there. So this one has a ball bearing opening mechanism, so it opens very smoothly. It has the ring here. So once it's open and it's in my hand, it fits like a glove.
But I noticed it was hard to open if your finger was through the ring before it was open.
Correct. If I had practiced with it enough, it probably wouldn't be that hard. However, I haven't because this isn't my daily carry. But if I had to actually use this, because of that ring here and because of the way the grip is shaped, if you notice even the clip is shaped around the way you would hold it. So it has a solid grip on it.
So he's saying the clip is indented right here where your finger would go as you wrap your hand around it. And I'm actually not that comfortable with it. You're only comfortable once you put your finger through that ring. So I don't think it's a immediate response type of weapon, but if you have a little bit of time to think about it, wow, this thing feels like I could really wield it. And this is a Boker, and it says 0707 and D2, so is that the metal?
D2 is the steel. Like I was mentioning before, there's chromium in D2. It's a very hard steel, keeps its edge a long time. For people making professional equipment, including machinists, it's a mainstay. It's used all over the world now, and it's become kind of the standard for non-special, non-patented steels.
So if you're listening, so far you've written down ProTech Half-Breed. Well, besides the Kershaw, which I personally do like. It's nice and thin, it's very rugged, it's very strong. Besides that, is there anything else you'd recommend? What are these two knives here?
So Here's a little Smith & Wesson. I don't know if it's in production anymore, but it was one of my favorite blades when I first started. It's automatic. There's a little stud back here, opens easily, serrated, so if you actually have to cut through rope or something, it's great for sawing. It has a thing here so it doesn't close back on your fingers when you're using it. It has a locking mechanism, which is nice, so you don't pop it open in your pocket by mistake.
So this has a slide locker, it's kind of like a safety you would have for a gun. And if you slide that and put it in your pocket, then it can't automatically flip out. Personally, I don't like that, because if I get in that situation, I'm not remembering that the damn thing is locked. Now, Matt, you said automatic, but then you had to flip it out with your finger. So
Yep.
What do you mean automatic?
So it's technically a spring assist. So there's a spring inside, and when you trigger that little stud in the back, it goes just like if there had been a push button.
This came out almost like a switchblade. There is a thing I have to hit with my finger, but check this out. I mean, I barely touched that thing, and this flipped open. And this is the SWAT version of the Smith & Wesson knife. Now, again, then it has a retractable guard. Now, again, the belt clip is in the wrong direction for me, right? It's facing the opposite direction. The opening of the clip is the opposite direction of the blade. So you have to put it in your, if you put it in your pocket, you reach in, pull it out, and I have to switch it around and to open it up. So I really don't like that. I probably wouldn't carry this just for that. That 1 second might really matter. And that fumbling around, that's when you drop a knife. You don't want to pull out a knife on somebody and drop it. What's that thing?
So, out of cheap blades, this is my favorite. I use this for work around my property. I have a larger property. I do a lot of yard work. So the nice thing about this is there's a little push button on here, but it's not an automatic. So you don't have to worry about any laws because you open it with a wrist flick. The blade geometry on this is what's known as a hawkbill. Similar to a karambit, but there's no ring. It's shaped a little bit differently, straight handle. But the nice thing, the way this is designed is you have some very precision cutting you can do as a tool, but also for self-defense. It's easy to hook and cut.
But you have to do it at a specific angle, don't you? I mean, you can't stab anybody because it's not really pointed at the top.
No, you can't stab, but you can hook. So through, up, under,
and reverse, right?
And you can reverse it, yeah. So you can hide it, but the other cool thing about this blade, it locks down here, so it's easy to close, but
full size handle. It
has a reversible belt clip. So you can put it in your pocket the way we like, or if someone likes to do it the other way, it's a quick one screw, you unscrew it, stick it on the other side, screw it back in, you can carry it the other way. They're relatively inexpensive too. You're looking at less than $20 for one of these blades at Home Depot.
And this is a Milwaukee licensed branded weapon. So you get this at Home Depot?
Home Depot, and I've had this blade for 4 years, and I use it on a daily basis. It's great.
That popped right open.
I don't carry it purely because it's a larger blade.
It is big.
But my daily carry, I don't want to put through the paces as much as I put this thing through.
So I will tell you one thing, as a former Marine, I will tell you the one reason or two reasons that you might want the clip reversed. A lot of people have a MOLLE vest, or they're left-handed, and they would reach across. If you reach across, you tend to have an inverted hold on a weapon. So if you have a MOLLE vest, you might go like that, and then you might pull it out instead of push. And if you tend to pull, then you're pulling against the opening of the clip that way. But normally we're talking about putting stuff in our jeans pocket. So that's why you want to do that. And this button, nothing happens when I hit the button. But with a light flick of the wrist, as he was saying, that thing is open. It's neat, but you can't stab. So we talked about a reverse grip. Now in martial arts, here's what we learned. We don't want to be Mr. Stabby, because it's easier to deflect and you have to be precise. What we want to do a lot of times is have what's called a reverse grip. Because when you're in natural fighting mode and your wrist is straight versus here's your stab wrist, what you're doing is you're mimicking the action of a punch. And you just come across and you swip in. So as you come across the throat, knife, you can stab, you can come around, you can spin, you can kill your partner. But basically, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna grab that thing and you're gonna say, hey, get away from me, and you're gonna stab him. So you wanna make it quick, you wanna make it light, you wanna make it open easily. You don't wanna have something like what we showed earlier on this one, where there's no spring assist, and you happen to open it up and it gets like in this area here. You want that thing to flick open. So as you go to sporting goods stores or try 4 or 5 or 6 different knives from Amazon, think about these things, and I think they'll really help you. Look at how that clip is mounted. Think about what he said. Is it reversible? This one is not. You can see that there is no place to mount the clip on the other side, whereas this one, there is. There's holes here, and you can flip it around to there also. So there's lots of little variables that make a big difference when you're in this situation. So today, those are our flippers, and I think that you have a good idea of kind of what you're looking for. We don't want to be too brand specific. We're not endorsing anybody or any type, but I know what he carries, and what I carry is very similar to that, but I also do often carry this Kershaw. I really like it. It's super thin, it's like paper thin. It's nice and light, it goes in the right way, and when I reach down into my pocket, I tend to grab it with this finger anyway, and that just flicks it right out. It has a good grip for my size hand, good ergonomic bend, the same thing with the clip where it dents in for your finger, and it's really nice. I don't think this thing was very expensive, but it's been a while since I bought it. So that's it for today. And next time we'll move on to concealed carry fixed blade, where we have karambits and angled knives and straight in knives and all kinds of stuff that we want to show you. Necklace knives, everything that you can think of. How do you hide it? Where do you put it? Well, this type of thing you can't really put in your pocket, so we're going to show you attached to the belt, inside your jeans, on the skin side, as well as the exposed on the outside, inside a vest, under the shirt. Some really cool stuff on next episode. Leave your comments and don't forget, hit subscribe.